Right, I report interesting news, or at least I think it's fairly interesting, and I think you will too, especially for those new to the Wim Hof Method with questions. So for the last 2.5 years, I've been doing the Wim Hof Method in the morning, the yoga routine, although I now do the 5 Tibetan Rites yoga routine. Do look that up on YouTube if you don't know what it is. Check it out on my channel if you need to. Followed it up with the power breathing from the Wim Hof Method, and more recently the SOMA breath breathing technique, both very similar. And then I followed up with a bit of cold therapy with my garden hose every day. And that works brilliantly. The power breathing as well gives you a lift in the morning and a feeling of energy. Now here comes the interesting bit. Last night I did something rather interesting. Something that I've never done in the last 2.5 years, because I'd always assumed it would be a silly thing to do. I still had a little bit of hay fever, still have it now, you can hear it in my nose. And last night my nose got blocked. I was in the spare room at this point anyway, because my son was brought to bed. He's 5, he was brought to bed last night. So I was in the spare room because he was wriggling around and doing my head in. So therefore I came upstairs to the spare room. And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning when I woke with a blocked nose, and I could really feel my mouth, knowing that I'd been breathing for some time through my mouth, and it just didn't feel, didn't feel good. You have a dry mouth. It feels as if you're not getting enough oxygen into the brain and body. And by the way, when you start doing the Wim Hof Method, when you start delving into the rabbit hole of breathing and breath work, and you read things like The Oxygen Advantage and various other books that are out there, you'll start to realize the power of your conch, the power of that thing stuck to your face that's there for a reason. It is meant to be the thing that you breathe in predominantly. However, some breathwork protocols, it's perfectly fine to use this. Just make sure throughout the day, breathe through this. And at night, also breathe through your nose if you can. And a really good trick, by the way, as a slight aside, if you know right now you both snore as well as have sleep apnea, then it's because you breathe incorrectly, and more importantly, you breathe through your mouth. If you can, get a bit of microbial tape or some light sellotape, put it over your mouth at night. Do this for a period of time, and it will trick your body and brain into breathing through this over this. And believe me, you will thank not only me, but whoever else, because I'm sure you're not going to just take my word for it. Go and do your own research, and you will thank that research for it. It will make a huge difference to your sleep. So I got up feeling rubbish, 3 o'clock in the morning, got down, decided that's it. I almost got angry with myself. I got angry with my physiology. I almost said, right, well, that's it. If that's what you're going to do, if that's how you're going to play it, then in which case we're going to wake up. So I got down, did my yoga routine, followed it up with 1 round of power breathing, Wim Hof Method power breathing. And all of a sudden, I felt really relaxed, sleepy, and tired. So I took myself off to bed and fell asleep for a couple of hours. Not what I was expecting at all. I genuinely assumed that by doing the power breathing especially, I would be awake, alive, as I always am in the morning when I do it. Have a listen to my friends here now. I met with them this morning. They are the owners of an organization called Primal Being. They are Wim Hof instructors as well as nutritional health, intermittent fasting experts, etc., etc. So a lot of what they do links with what I do. They're really interesting folk. Have a listen to this.
We get a lot of people, who join the Primal Being group or are on, or we're doing Wim Hof Method instructing with, who say, when is it best to do it? Is it best in the morning, best in the evening? Of course, it doesn't matter, but it's different. When you do it just prior to going to bed, it'll actually put you to sleep.
See, I've not done that.
But in a more relaxed way, I find. Like when I teach people about doing it at night time, you don't do it for long, so just do 20 breaths, and then just to hold lightly, and not for it to be as active as you would normally do it. And then it just calms the mind. The rhythm of the breath, the focus on the breath, just calms the body and the mind down. And then it just kind of stops. It is, we talk about reset a lot, I think, in Wim Hof and in other breath techniques and the cold, and I think it does. It just resets you back to what your body needs.
Interesting, isn't it? And I wonder, is it to do with the melatonin? In other words, the connection with the melatonin brain chemical that your pineal gland produces at night. So just before you go to sleep, melatonin is produced. That helps you go to sleep. And in the morning, your pineal gland then pours a whole load of serotonin into your body. That wakes you up, makes you feel good, and you crack on with the day with more energy. So I wonder, does the Wim Hof method practiced in the evening connect in some way with the melatonin? I'd heard a few people in my tribe in Facebook, the Tribe of Evolutionaries. Do come and join us, by the way, in there. It's free, obviously, to join. Really interesting group. We talk about all kinds of subjects to do with physical and mental health and enhancing those. And a few people in there had said they've been doing the Wim Hof method breathing at night. And whilst I'd always said, yeah, fine, if it works for you, great. In the back of my mind, I'd always thought, yeah, that's a bit silly. What do you want to do that for? I mean, you're going to feel totally alive and awake. You're not going to fall asleep. And yet, I've now proved to myself the Wim Hof method can be done prior to sleep and will likely promote your sleep. Anyway, I hope that was interesting. It certainly was for me. And nice to have these eye-openers as you continue on your journey. You get to a point you think you know everything about this one thing. You know, the Wim Hof method, I've been doing it for 2.5 years, so I kind of assumed I knew pretty much all there was to know about it. So it's really nice to have my eyes opened on this subject for something that other people probably knew already. Anyway, you'll see more of these guys, both Nick and Kat from Primal Being, in another video that's coming up soon, where we will be discussing all of the healing, the health benefits that come with the Wim Hof method in particular. There may be some intermittent fasting conversation in there as well for good measure, and a couple of other interesting bits and pieces, so do keep an eye out for that video. Thank you for watching. Evolution of Dave signing off, and hopefully by next video this will be a little clearer. Bye for now.